Welcome back. You're watching Newsx. I'm Udar Pratap Singh. Our big focus this hour, Coldplay's recent performance in India with their 5 sold-out concerts has generated a massive blitz. The British band's electrifying music of the Sphere's world tour has left spectators spellbound in Mumbai as well as in Ahmedabad. The shows drew over 430,000 attendees cumulatively. And in fact, on the 26th of January, Coldplay delivered India's largest concert ever with over 1.34 lakh attendees in none other than the Narendra Modi Stadium. Concert goers did not just sing praises of the band itself, but also of authorities for the management of this large-scale event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi too has praised Coldplay's successful India tour. He's highlighted that this is proof of India's scope for hosting live concerts. He emphasized that it's reflective of India's concert economy potential that will further boost tourism and create large-scale employment. But that's not all. The Prime Minister has also urged state governments and the private sector to focus on the necessary infrastructure for augmenting the concert economy. Speaking of large-scale events, we're also witnessing the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj. Till now, over 15 million devotees have thronged the city and taken a dip in the holy Triveni Sangam. There too, pilgrims have praised the seamless organization and management of the spiritual spectacle. So from Coldplay's concerts to the Mahakumbh, India is setting an example in hosting big events. Well, let's in fact quickly listen into what Prime Minister Modi said on the occasion, which has set off this big debate, urging India to host more live concert events after our success.
दोनों बड़े पिछले कुछ दिनों में आपने मुंबई और अहमदाबाद में हुए कोल्डप्ले कॉन्सर्ट की शानदार तस्वीरें देखी होगी। ये इस बात का प्रमाण है कि लाइव कॉन्सर्ट्स के लिए भारत में कितना स्कोप है। दुनिया के बड़े-बड़े कलाकार, बड़े-बड़े आर्टिस्ट भी भारत की तरफ आकर्षित हो रहे हैं। कंसर्ट इकोनॉमी से टूरिज्म भी बढ़ता है और बड़ी संख्या में जॉब्स क्रिएट होती है। मेरा राज्यों से, प्राइवेट सेक्टर से आग्रह है कि कंसर्ट इकोनॉमी के लिए जरूरी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर फोकस करें, जरूरी स्किल्स पर फोकस करें।
Well, joining us now live is Andre Timmins, co-founder of IFA. His company, Wizcraft, is one of the premier event organizers in India. We also have Shailin Singh, founder of Sunburn, joining us now live. His company, Percept, has organized some of the biggest events in India. We also have Himanshu Bhatt, senior journalist, live with us. Dikshu Kukreja, urban planner, is live with us. Sanjay Sahai, former IPS officer, also joins us live on the broadcast. Andre Timmins, let me quickly bring you in here first. A big statement by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's noted how the success of Coldplay reflects India's capacity in holding these world-class events and concerts. Coldplay's capacity and attendance was over 130,000 people in Ahmedabad. What do you make of this big statement by the PM, Andre, given the fact that your company Wizcraft has organized some of the biggest events and concerts in India earlier?
First of all, thank you so much for getting me on the show, and I definitely want to thank our Honorable Prime Minister for at least acknowledging the business that has been going on for decades, and I think the time has come where we can see live entertainment, shining. Coming back to live entertainment and concerts, yes, we were the first people to bring in Michael Jackson to India in '96 at that time, and the biggest issue we face in India is infrastructure, but we kind of live with what we have. And when we bought Michael Jackson, we done it in India. We were over 30,000 people there, and of course, recently 2016 we did the Global Citizen Festival, where we had Coldplay, Chris Martin, Jay-Z, and Demi Lovato, and of course a bunch of whole Indian artists, where we had over 86,000 people. But that was more, call for action for a cause, where we gave out close to about 55,000 tickets free. And to see Coldplay come back and to see this whole business grow, And this is happening phenomenally across the world with Taylor Swift, with Ed Sheeran, with, of course, Coldplay, and our very own artists, Daljit and Arijit and A.R. Rahman, which we've been part of shows in India where we've had more than 30,000-40,000 people. So I think we've all woken up to live entertainment beyond cinema. And I think what we need to get, from the government, and I'm so happy our Prime Minister has said this today because we're excited, is that we need to get, kind of more infrastructure and safety for people coming in and out.
Absolutely. In fact, the Prime Minister has urged state governments, Andre, and the private sector as well to focus on the necessary infrastructure to augment the concert economy. Now, we're all, of course, working towards increasing, India's GDP and making us, of course, amongst the world's third largest economy. But we need for that also to implement the necessary infrastructure, as you were just saying. He's called on state governments and, private players to do this. How earnestly should they do this, and how much will this help concert infrastructure and also live events? I mean, we're seeing the Mahakumbh as well take place in Prayagraj. That is also such a huge event. The largest congregation of its kind of a spiritual gathering, and it's happening so seamlessly in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant as to what we are seeing there. There's a lot of festivals coming in into India. There are a lot of concerts coming into India, and actually concerts are changing the format of actually tourism. Like what we do when we travel with IFA to different countries, across the world, we sell them, that Asians and Indians travel around the world. But what we are seeing now with concerts and festivals coming in, like for example, Sunburn and a lot of other festivals that have taken place here, that actually boosted the state's economy, if you look at it from that perspective. And the only thing what has happened now, that we got an international star like Coldplay that has done these 5 shows, and over these 5 shows maybe we sold probably 300,000-400,000 tickets.
Yes.
That now we all kind of waking up to the fact that the state also benefits in terms of rooms, flights, food, drinks, and that really builds it. And that's what people abroad have been doing for many, many years.
Absolutely. Could we also hope, for people to perhaps begin flying to India? Of course, they fly to India for tourism, for hotel, but to enjoy big hotels and luxurious hotels for tourism. But could we maybe look at, concert tourism and this live event tourism also? There are so many Indians who fly to Europe to attend big concerts. Many, in fact, who couldn't get tickets for the Indian concerts of Coldplay actually went to Abu Dhabi recently. Could we hope, for a reversal of that, perhaps in the future, if we organize big events of the kind that we did in Ahmedabad? I mean, phenomenal visuals came in from Ahmedabad that the Prime Minister also referred to of Coldplay. Perhaps we can get people from abroad, to begin with Southeast Asia and closer countries coming here. You're also organizing the IFA, which normally happens abroad, in India this year, in Jaipur and Rajasthan. So perhaps we can hope for this live event concert tourism to rise?
Yeah, I think we are celebrating our 25 years, and the Rajasthan government got in touch with us, said, why don't you host it in Jaipur? And we were extremely happy because it's a homegrown IP out of India to the world. And we said, what better than actually hosting our 25 years in Jaipur? And, we are looking at over 50,000 people attending over 2-3 days. So one is that the governments are looking at, investing in projects like this to bring it in, because the moment you have 50-60,000 people over in your city, everything just keeps, booming, in terms of the tourism part of it.
Yes.
And also the visibility of the world, because of course, we are a television event, social media is very powerful. So I think I'm extremely happy that states are looking at, bringing in projects like this. I also heard that the UP government is bringing the GP back to India, right? And they want to, have it at the Booth circuit, where you're talking about, again, over 2 days, maybe probably 2 lakh people coming in there. Mm-hmm. So, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so again, if you look at the UP government and the chief minister investing in bringing in the formula, the GP, I think we're going to see more states now wanting to do and bringing in more festivals and actually welcoming our homegrown festivals that we are building in here.
What more, though, needs to be done for this? Because as you're saying, it has its ramifications, on the economy, on of course, states stand to benefit, hotels stand to benefit, local shopping, shops stand to benefit, restaurants stand to benefit by, of course, this inflow that will come in. But what more is needed?
I think from my perspective, I know you have other people on the panel. I think I think the government got to do is first build infrastructure, because everything is about an experience. Like you said, people went to Abu Dhabi or people went to London to see Taylor Swift or Coldplay. I think what is important is to, and the same thing with Daljit. So I think what we need to do is either we have such great stadiums across the country, if it could be a private partnership to come in, build it, or build more infrastructure, more arenas in India. I think that'll be good, because ultimately, if we want to build international standards, the experience for a consumer,
yes,
because even for the Coldplay, tickets were not as cheap as it should be, and if you want an experience, I think it starts from there. And that's
right.
what I think states will start doing.
Yeah, you just spoke about Sunburn. Let me bring in the individual responsible for the success of Sunburn, Shailendra Singh, onto this discussion as well. He's also live with us. Shailendra Singh of Percept. Shailendra, you must have heard Prime Minister's statement. What do you make of it? He's, of course, speaking because of the recent success of Coldplay and other concerts that we've seen in India. I think the world was blown away by those visuals from Ahmedabad. 134,000 attendees, and all of them went out having a great time there. There was no glitch at all. What do you make of this big statement, and what's the way forward for India in this space? You've been one of the pioneers. Which direction should we head in?
So I feel, there's a Hindi phrase, Der aaye, durust aaye. I've been doing live events for like nearly 25 years, and 2007, Sunburn was born into India, and it became the third largest music festival on the planet and the #1 in Asia. But we got no recognition. We got no support from any government, any state, nothing. We did not even get one window clearance. We had to take 176 permissions before every event. So, I mean, it's brilliant that our Prime Minister has woken up to the reality that there is something called music tourism, just like sports tourism. Countries like Australia and South Africa are built on sports tourism, and that's why they're capable of handling huge World Cups without any glitches at all, even when their countries are going through tough and troubled times. But we have our issues, as you notice, even our sports large events that we're not able to host yet. So I feel that music tourism, forget about concert tourism, should be taken seriously. We are the land of music. We have all genres of music in this country. So to be able to nurture and grow music tourism, what's important? Please understand one thing. Cricket is a religion in this country, and we just hosted the World Cup. And guess what? We didn't even market the Cricket World Cup. Nobody flew in from any part of the world. All your stadiums are packed with only Indians. That is a shame. We couldn't even market Cricket World Cup, which was hosted in India. We also won the World Cup in India. But 99% people in the stadiums were Indians. So that's not a good way to go. So if you want to, you of course, like Andre said previously, you have to build infrastructure for sure. But the will to make these things happen. So when you wanted to make cricket a religion, you build cricket stadiums. You want then ISL came, and then you build football stadiums. You have to take this seriously, and it's top down and bottom up. Of course, you want large stadiums like the Ahmedabad Arena or a Wankhede, etc., to turn, or DY Patil, which is supposed to be a cricket stadium, turned into a sports stadium, turned into a music stadium, which takes a lot of effort and money to make that happen. So is the government really keen at the central and the state level to build infrastructures which are conducive and built for live entertainment? That's what Diljit Dosanjh said, actually. He just a month ago, he criticized our infrastructure. And just a month later, we are all praises, and our Prime Minister is coming to the party and saying, hey, we're going to make this happen, because he is now understood. He's a man with vision. He's realized that music tourism is a reality. We have the youngest population on the planet.
Yes.
So it's time to wake up.
And you're saying something very interesting. Of course, it's about getting in, foreigners as well, to make it not just a destination for Indians, to come to these performances and these concerts, but perhaps to get people from abroad to come in. You know, we saw, of course, luxury tourism grow in India. We've seen wildlife tourism also grow, thanks to, of course, our wildlife park. Now it's perhaps time to see concert tourism, live event tourism grow as well.
100%. I mean, back in 2010, just want to let you know.
And there's tremendous potential. You understand the economy very well and the economic ramifications. There's tremendous potential, isn't there?
Like what Andre also said from Viscraft, that, you know, the exchequer benefits beyond the promoter benefiting. Please understand that when we take Sunburn to Goa, or now IFA is going to go to Jaipur, it's going to add to the economy of hospitality in terms of transportation, hotel. I mean, you know, Viscraft is not going to get all the money for it. The government is going to make more money than Viscraft is going to make. So that's how it works even in Sunburn. But in year 2010, we had tourists from 47 countries. If you do your research and you see, for the Cricket World Cup just hosted a few years ago, how many international tourists came for the Cricket World Cup? So I think it's the intent, and it's also positioning our country in that perspective. So this year's Kumbh Mela, I mean, it's a marketing spectacle. I mean, I've been to Kumbh 4 times, but this time I didn't go because I realized that it was now an event. It wasn't a holy experience. It was a brilliantly well-marketed, branded event, which is brilliant. And you know what? We have proven to the whole world that if we can host Kumbh safely, we can host any kind of event.
Absolutely.
But I think this message coming from the Prime Minister has got to go down to the Chief Ministers, single window clearance, intent to build infrastructure, top down, bottom up. We got to build up nightclubs. If you believe that music tourism is a reality, you know, India has Sufi, rock, Punjabi, metal, all genres, electronic music. You will have to grow it from bottom up and top down. I feel there's a brilliant opportunity, and the fact that the Prime Minister has come to the party.
And we're slowly seeing those venues, isn't it, Dikshu Kukreja? You have been responsible for, of course, one of them also, Yashobhumi, which is in Dwarka in Delhi. We saw the Bharat Mandapam, you know, and how it hosted the G20 summit with such elan, where we had, of course, you know, the topmost leaders of the world, from Emmanuel Macron to Joe Biden to Rishi Sunak, all in attendance. What further is needed for creating this infrastructure that Andre Timmins and, you know, Shailendra Singh are speaking about on the program today, and even the Prime Minister has urged state governments and also private players to further create, so we boost this concert economy?
So first of all, Uday, I think this is a great initiative. And finally, as mentioned by some of the co-panelists, India is awakening to this huge potential that we have of being able to attract people from around the world, and the kind of imageability that such events bring to a country. I don't know how much money is saved on the exchequer, forget about the extra earnings, but the savings in terms of marketing, because seeing is believing, experiencing is believing even better. And this is what people today, if they come to Kumbh or they come in participate in this Coldplay concert, or for that matter, the literary festival or the India Art Festival, or countless other things that are beginning to happen in India, I think this is a very, very welcome move. I also believe that the experience is not just about the event, but it is about the entire experience when a tourist arrives into the country or that city, even if it's a domestic tourist. So I think we need to look at the entire package. A lot of times we realize that, you know, there are connectivity issues, there are other infrastructure woes that people face when they arrive for such an event, and that can also lead to really not having the best experience for the event. So yes, capital infrastructure, creating more of it. We have a long way to go. It's a great beginning, and I hope other states catch on, and this movement really now has its own period of glory. But I also believe that at the same time, the civic authorities, the local politicians, everybody needs to start paying attention to the kind of experience we give to the visitor who comes there, and the accompanying disaster management facilities and precautions that need to be taken. Because remember, we can all bask in the glory of the success of one event, but if there was to be one wrong incident that takes place or one mishap, you know, everything can come crumbling down.
Absolutely. Sanjay Sahai, what all goes behind? What all goes behind smooth conduct of such big events? You know, you're a former IPS officer yourself. What all, Sanjay Sahai, goes behind the conducting of such events, of course, to ensure that there are no logistical hassles, to ensure also that there are no security lapses as well? You know, earlier we had seen bomb blasts in our country, we had seen security lapses. Thankfully, we've seen that not happen over the last few years, which is also leading to this safe environment within which, these big events like concerts and, award functions and live shows can happen, and also the Kumbh in Prayagraj, which Shailendra was speaking about as well.
Hello.
Sanjay Sahai, can you hear me?
The security, yeah, I can hear you. So the security arrangement for all these complex sorts of festivals and most of the which goes on for, I think, 45 days or even beyond, it has to be very, very critically planned, and it has to be executed even in a more exemplary manner. I remember of a cricket match. I don't remember what match it was. And there's a bomb scare in Bangalore. And they did the checking of the whole stadium, Chinnaswamy Stadium, I think around 1.5 hours. And the match went on. So the presence of mind for these events are totally different from what happens in a smaller sort of gathering and small sort of arrangements. Now, if there are different, see, we are very, very accustomed to a cricket sort of a crowd. So cricket is generally managed in the manner it has been for last 50, 70 years. But when we come to other events, most of the concert variety, only recently the place where Diljit Dosanjh had his concert in Bangalore, the subsequent day I was there. And generally people were not very happy with the management out here, and more so the experience which all my co-panelists are talking about. That experience itself was missing. And if we talk of the younger generation, I think they are really tied up to that particular experience. And more often than not, might be the security does not cave in, but certainly the experience which you have with the security is certainly not of a very pleasant variety. To enter, to find your way through, wade your way through to the final concert or wherever you are intended to reach, that becomes a terrible exercise. I think that has been literally completely been done away with the Kumbh Mela. And I presume that whatever happened,
I can see on a lighter note, I can see Steve Jobs' picture behind you. His wife too was there. She had a great time showcasing how global visitors are coming in to the Kumbh Mela as well.
For me, Steve Jobs is my role model, and I have done policing, governance, and technology all with the same elan. So now coming back to the management part of it, there are 2-3 very clear-cut issues. So one is the traffic side, which is very, very critical and which finally gives you the worst part of experience. The second is the parking. So that is very, very important. So from the traffic to the parking to finally your way through in your enclosure where you are supposed to be seated or you are standing in whichever manner. So these things become very, very critical. If these things are not handled properly, and there is an added issue which one of my co-panelists says, that you are transforming a cricket stadium into a concert arena. So that has huge nature of challenges, not only on the day the event happens. It goes on for 15, 20 days and goes on for another 3-4 days after the event, creating huge amount of nuisance for the people who are all around. So these things needs to be ironed out. So I would add to whatever other co-panelists have said, we need a very clear-cut policy on the big concerts or big events in this country.
Yes.
The nature of infrastructure, Diljit Dosanjh has been talking about finally because of huge amount of criticism, and I'll take the liberty, he restricted himself only to Chandigarh. But these are the issues with large number of arenas.
Absolutely.
So specialized arenas, facilitation by the government, and there's a huge amount.
Absolutely. Let me quickly get in Himanshu Bhatt before I go back for a last word to Andre and Shailendra. Himanshu Bhatt, let me quickly draw you in here. You are of course based in Gujarat, where that big concert happened of Coldplay over the weekend. One of the days of course was Republic Day. And normally on such days you don't have permission being given because it becomes a bit of a security nightmare, particularly in state capitals. But permission was given by the Gujarat police and Gujarat government, and it happened so smoothly that it's become the talk of town.
It did happen very smoothly. It became a talk of town. But let me tell you that, starting from Michael Jackson, Andre knows it, 1995-96, Mumbai, to Steve Martin on 26th of January. We have taken
Chris Martin.
a long time. It's a long way forward. Along with that, in 2025, you are having Mahakumbh after 144 years. My basic issue is, it's something like this. My friends, we are talking in terms of, tourism being developed. Concert tourism. Yes, you do want concert tourism, but do you know 134,000 people in Ahmedabad's Motera Stadium or Narendra Modi Stadium, whatever you want to call it. In that stadium, were all chanting Vande Mataram. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. See, it's all very nice, my idols. Eye of the Tiger of Michael Jackson is very, very fine. But on the same next day, in Mumbai, I wrote a heading. The tickets were being sold for pittance for this show. And it was a fact. Because that was that internet booking was, an euphoria at that time. It just had started. So people pre-booked to sell it in black. And as a result, on the place of the concert, the tickets were sold for pittance. From that day to 26th of January, we have come a long way. Still, there is a way to go. But then why it is impossible, Uday? See, two events parallel. On one side, you have a perennial event of Mahakumbh going on, crores and crores, 45 crores, much more than the population of US and Russia put together, are going to go there in 2 months' time. On the other side, you have a stadium which is the biggest stadium of the world with the capacity of more than 1 lakh, and people are gathering there. And quietly things happen. Yes, there are issues. Even for this Narendra Modi Stadium, if one wants to wade through his way,
yes,
it will be a couple of hours lost there.
Yes.
Yes, I do agree to that.
Yes.
But this is just a beginning.
Okay.
For a country of 140 crore people need to understand the enormity of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's why the...
Yes, no, point taken. Point taken. Let me quickly conclude with the last word from you, Andre Timmins. We've seen, of course, Michael Jackson in the past, as Himanshu Bhatt was just telling us. We saw many other concerts, of course, but in the middle, everything suddenly went to just Bangalore. Other cities didn't have big concerts. Then we saw a big gap in which, we had seen mismanagement of certain concerts, of course, because of which artists stopped coming to India. Now we're seeing a return, and now we're seeing big concerts, big global players, big performers come and have a great time, and audiences also have a great time. How do we make sure this lasts, and is this a good sign for the future? Have you also seen this transition over the years, since you've of course been in the industry for so long too?
Well, the one thing I can say that we always pray when international concerts come in here that it's, the experience is good for both, for the artist as well as the consumer that's going to see the event, right? I think time has come, we're seeing so many concerts coming in, festivals coming in, they're being accepted in a big way. Mm-hmm. So I think the only way is up, is to keep doing things. Like Shailendra said, we have a younger generation in the world, and I just feel that, whoever does anything, right, if it's done well, people will come, right? And that's what I'm happy about, that, when we did Global Citizen Festival, it was a cause, it was organized well, people enjoyed themselves, like many other concerts, and recently Coldplay. I think Coldplay was done very well, and I'm happy that they played in Ahmedabad to such a large audience, because not only did they play on 26, but also it was live stream on Disney Hotstar. True. Which the people of India got a view, and I watched it too for some time. So I have to say that there's a thought process changing, and also for talent to come to India, the advantage is they also have a lot of merchandising, a lot of their products. So it's not only the concert that they're looking at touching and feeling our like 140 crore people that we have in our country. Absolutely. So I'm extremely happy.
Absolutely. And it's a sign, of course, of things to come. Do we have Shailendra Singh still with us? Okay, I think we've lost him. All right, let's conclude on that note. We've run completely out of time. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this special discussion. It's time for a very short break. Viewers, thanks for being with us too.